teardrops, reflective banners, telescope banners, vehicle branding, road signages, mugs, badges, t-shirts, polo shirts, hoodies, pens, letterheads, business cards, envelopes, receipt books, brochures, flyers, posters, calendars, magazines, wedding cards, plastic ID cards, funeral programs, and many more. We also have indoor and outdoor videography, photography, and live streaming services. Visit us at our Migori Market, Onyinjo Bridge, Tiendege Stage offices. Call or WhatsApp us through 0721 37 9308 or 0736 35 2224. Connect with us on YouTube and Facebook at Blackman TV. We are on TikTok as BTV Kenya and also Blackman Studios on Facebook as well. Blackman Digital Graphics, quality you can trust. Welcome to Blackman Digital Graphics. We offer design, printing and branding services using large format printing, offset and digital printing. Our approach to printing, graphics design and branding is top-notch with quality services including roll-up banners, street banners, teardrops, reflective banners, telescope banners, vehicle branding, road signages, mugs, badges, t-shirts, polo shirts, hoodies, pens, letterheads, business cards, envelopes, receipt books, brochures, flyers, posters, calendars, magazines, wedding cards, plastic ID cards, funeral programs, and many more. We also have indoor and outdoor videography, photography, and live streaming services. Visit us at our Migori Market, Onyinjo Bridge, Tiendege Stage offices. Call or WhatsApp us through 0721 37 9308 or 0736 35 2224. Connect with us on YouTube and Facebook at Blackman TV. We are on TikTok as BTV Kenya and also Blackman Studios on Facebook as well. Blackman Digital Graphics, quality you can trust. Welcome to Blackman Digital Graphics. We offer design, printing and branding services using large format printing, offset and digital printing. Our approach to printing, graphics design and branding is top-notch with quality services including roll-up banners, street banners, teardrops, reflective banners, telescope banners, vehicle branding, road signages, mugs, badges, t-shirts, polo shirts, hoodies, pens, letterheads, business cards, envelopes, receipt books, brochures, flyers, posters, calendars, magazines, wedding cards, plastic ID cards, funeral programs, and many more. We also have indoor and outdoor videography, photography, and live streaming services. Visit us at our Migori Market, Onyinjo Bridge, Tiendege Stage offices. Call or WhatsApp us through 0721 37 9308 or 0736 35 2224. Connect with us on YouTube and Facebook at Blackman TV. We are on TikTok as BTV Kenya and also Blackman Studios.
Good morning, dear viewers, and welcome to Vibrant Morning here in BTV Kenya. Now, Vibrant Morning brings you brief of newspaper review. That is, we only give you a brief of what is in the People Daily newspaper, but it is you to take time and read elaboratively of what is in the People Daily newspaper. Now, today we have a lot of goodies as we have changed how we do things. That is, we not only give you a brief of what is in the People Daily newspaper, but we also give you the headline of each newspaper that we are able to gather for you this morning. I'm your host, Gagi Isaiah, and my co-host Lennox Odede is not around with me because he's outside there to gather more news for us. Please keep tuned to BTV, your home live TV. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook page, Blackman TV. You can also leave a comment there and also let us know where we are reaching you from. You can also follow us on TikTok, that is BTV Kenya. Also leave a comment, let us know where we are reaching you from. You can also follow us on YouTube, that is BTV Kenya, and also leave a comment, we know where we are reaching you from. If you are on Instagram, we are here for you. Please remember to subscribe, to follow and like so that we know where we are reaching you from. Remember, your feedback is very, very important to us as they help us to improve the services, the quality of the services that we give you, that we bring to you. Thank you so much once again, and we say welcome this Tuesday, 25th of March 2025. Vibrant Morning brings you a lot of goodies on what is in the People Daily newspaper, and as I said earlier, and also headline of different newspapers that we've got for you. Now today we have a lot, and looking onto what we are having for you in the newspaper is we have Daily Nation newspaper. Now looking into the Daily Nation newspaper, the big story there is Uhuru's 26 billion CBC blunder. Remember, competency-based curriculum, that is CBC, the new education program that is currently run in Kenya. The newspaper is reporting there is a blunder with 26 billion Kenya shillings, which was pumped into CBC during the reign of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. You can grab a copy of the People Daily newspaper, of the Daily Nation, and read more comprehensively of that story. Now also, we also have another newspaper. We are going to give you another newspaper, that is Business Daily. Now on Business Daily, we have Treasury to repay 14 to pay 114 billion loan with Eurobond cash. That is what Mbadi is bringing on the table. Mbadi is saying that Treasury is now required to pay 114 billion Kenya shillings loans with Eurobond cash. You can also grab Business Daily and read that to get more insight of what the cabinet Mbadi is talking about and read more elaboratively. Also, we have another newspaper that is East African. The East African say no respite in Congo despite fresh meetings. Now remember, Congo has been a war-torn country facing a threat of M23 rebels, and despite the talks that has been going there to people to come out for truce, for peace, that has not been achieved, and there is a lot that is still going on. We see M23 still pushing on. That is a newspaper we believe you can grab a copy and read on. That is on the East African newspaper. Please grab that and read more comprehensively. And also on Taifa Leo, Naishi Jehanamu, that is what former Kiambu governor Ferdinand Waititu now says, that Anaishi Jehanamu. You can also check that and read People Daily, Taifa Leo, to get what is in that newspaper. Also moving, we still on the different cover page. That is, we also have one that is a weekly review. On weekly reviews, you can also see Ruto's rocky road back to the mountain route, as President William Ruto plans to go to Mount Kenya region. That road is very rocky. Please grab a copy of weekly review and read more comprehensively of that story. Now moving on to other newspapers, that is the Standard newspaper, where we see goons go on rampage. You can also check that, and this one is seen as you can read more and get there on the Standard, where goons go on rampage. And also the Nairobian newspaper, that is drag queens, that's the headline of the story. Drag queens, that is 120 jailed and face drug charges abroad, face death abroad. That is following the story of the lady who is in Vietnam. We hope everything is going to be okay. You can grab a copy and read much of those stories and more comprehensively. Remember, we just give you a brief of what is in this newspaper. You to take time and read more comprehensively. Now, getting back to what we have in the People Daily newspaper. Now, looking into the cover page of the People Daily newspaper, the big story of the day, that is inside state plan to tame Matian'Gi. Remember that headline is also in the other newspaper, where we have seen, if you check carefully, we see that in the other newspaper there's also something similar to that, but please grab a copy and read. But we see the People Daily newspaper is saying the big story of the day is inside state plan to tame Matian'Gi. Now, just a brief, the story is on page 4, is that Kenya Kwanza to pounce on former powerful interior minister once he formally declares bid to run for the presidency in 2027. Remember, Matian'Gi has not come out openly to declare that he's going to run for the presidency come 2027, even after a lot has been going around him, being fronted by the Jubilee Party to be the flag bearer come 2027 elections, but he has not formally come out and declared that he's going to run for the presidency. Amidst all that, the state, or Kenya Kwanza, is planning to pounce on him, and immediately he declares that he's going to run for a presidency come 2027. That's a story which I believe you can grab a copy of the People Daily newspaper and read elaboratively to get what is in the story. We'll also give you a brief of that. And also another big story here is a story of Ruto move to calm Mount Kenya ahead of tour. That is on page 5. Remember, President William Ruto is planning to go to Mount Kenya region, to tour Mount Kenya region. Now he's planning to move to a calm Mount Kenya region. You can grab a copy and read that story, which is in page 5 of the People Daily newspaper. And also some other stories which you also need to read out on page 6 and page 7, matters that relates to IEBC, Independence and Electoral Boundaries Commission. That is, gold scam hunt Ahmadi as Charles Nyachai battle state project tags. You can also read that story. That is, we remember that Ahmadi is actually pushing on to lead the IEBC, a position that has been vacant since the period that the deceased Chebukati was the chairman of IBC, retired from the position, and the position now is vacant, and we have witnessed interviews going on to make sure that that gap is filled for IEBC to function efficiently. Now, the two major contestants for that position, that is Charles Nyachai and Ahmadi, are all having a lot of issues that seems to follow up on them, that seems to bag them down. You can also check that story. Is on page 6 and page 7 of the People Daily newspaper. And also another story which we believe is of great importance is that on page 5, Corporal kills a man over pool game in Kawangware. That was a story where a police corporal killed a man over a pool game in Kawangware. You can also grab the copy of the People Daily newspaper and read much of that story. Now, looking into what we are having in the People Daily newspaper, that is on page 2, we see TB, tuberculosis, continues to ravage society as health experts up the battle. Now, communities at frontline warriors in the battle against call for renewed impetus from state and experts. That's a story by George Kibaso. You will be able to read more elaboratively on how health experts are gearing up and putting more effort to battle TB, which is actually continuing to ravage our society today. Please grab a copy of the People Daily newspaper and read that. And also remember, we gave you a story which was in the People Daily newspaper last week where ex-MCA was impersonating and he was arrested. Now court has released ex-MCA accused of impersonation. You can grab a copy of the People Daily newspaper and read much of that story, a story by Alphonse Mungau. Please grab a copy and read. Now, it is very, very important, and this is a good way to go. We see members of a former school, what is named or termed as alumni, plans to give rundown school a promising future. Now, former students and local communities come together to breathe new life to directly site school and initiate new feeding programs. That is, learners at Kipkombot Primary School in Nandi County have a reason to smile after alumni and the community team up in a revitalization initiative aimed at improving the school's infrastructure and overall learning environment. That is very, very positive, and we encourage people who happen to be former members of different schools and are in a position to help the school to actually come out and give support, as we see in Nandi County. That's a plus, and we need to embrace that. You can grab a copy, story by Wycliffe Kipsang, and read more elaboratively of that story. Now we move to a story which is the headline of the People Daily newspaper, and that is, inside the state plan to tame Matian'Gi. Now, what is in this story in page 4? We see there are 14 criminal charges to be framed against Matian'Gi. People Daily newspaper believes that these 14 charges will be able to tame Matian'Gi once he declared that he is going to vie for the position of presidency come 2027 election. Now, state operatives plan to pounce on former powerful interior minister once he formally declares his 2027 presidential bid. A story by Mukalo Kwayera. You can also check that. Now, Jubilee parties pick for 2027 presidential election. Fred Matian'Gi faces a rough road in his intention after it emerged that a myriad of political anthills are being placed in his path by influential forces within the establishment even before he formally announces the bid. Now, before Matian'Gi comes out and announces bid for the presidency, being fronted by Jubilee Party to be the flag bearer, a lot has been, and there are a lot of charges which are going to be laid against him by people believed to be most powerful. You can grab a copy and read much of that story, which is in page 4 of the People Daily newspaper. Now, on the same page, we see Nyamira politicians moot reconciliation and unity talks, a story by Evans Nyakundi. 5 legislators from Nyamira County have resolved and planned for a reconciliation meeting between two warring MCS facing MCS factions of Nyamira County Assembly and the executive. Remember, Nyamira County has been a place and a war zone for members of the county assemblies, and we had seen a lot in the past affecting Nyamira County. Now we see that 5 legislators are willing to come together to plan for the reconciliation. I think this is very, very important, and this is also what I believe Migori County should embrace to see us moving forward to see that work is done. There's also another story which is also a cover story. It is also a story on the cover page that is on Ruto. President Ruto moves to calm Mount Kenya ahead of tour, which is on page 5. Now, in page 5, we see that story. Now, President William Ruto meets Mount Kenya leaders ahead of his tour of the region. He plans to move to the region, and he has called on leaders from Mount Kenya so that as he moves to Mount Kenya, everything will be smooth. A story by Lucas Baraza. Move marks Ruto's first development tour of area since Gachagua's impeachment as deputy president last year. You can read all that in the People Daily newspaper. President William Ruto yesterday met leaders from Mount Kenya as he sought to pacify and revisit region ahead of his visit later this week. With Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, the president met cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, and governors from the region at the State House in Nairobi. This is with a move to ensure that his tour to Mount Kenya is going to be smooth. Now, another story which is on the cover page is also on the same page 5, where a police officer shoots a man dead in an argument over a pool game. Story by Zadok Angira. It is also on page 5. A police officer attached to State House spokesperson Hossein Mohammed allegedly shot and killed a man over the outcome of a pool game in Kawangware, Nairobi on Sunday night. You can also check that. Corporal Muhammad Yusuf Kainan shot dead Amos Kiprono Lagat, 35, at entertainment joint following an argument. That is a story which I believe you can grab a copy and read more comprehensively. Sorry for that, but we can move on with what is in the People Daily newspaper. Now, moving on to page 6, where we also see another big story of the People Daily newspaper, a story which is also on the cover page. That is a gold scam. Hans Amadi as Charles Nyachai battle state project tags. That story is on page 5 of the People Daily newspaper, where we see gold scandal hunt Amadi in her quest for IEBC boss post. Now, former registrar of the judiciary questioned overall allegations involvement in scam she is accused of colluding to defraud. Story by Mercy Mwai and Christopher Kisemei. You can also grab a copy and read this. A story we believe is very, very important and of more interest. The gold scam allegations, failure to fight corruption in the judiciary, and continued snubbing of court decisions are among the issues that came to haunt former Judiciary Chief Registrar Anne Amadi during her grilling session for the position of chairperson of the country's electoral body, that is IEBC. Ahmadi, who was the second candidate to be interviewed by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, selection panel chaired by Dr. Nelson Makanda, after Abdul Kadir Lurot Ramadan was taken to task to explain why she should be appointed to such high profile job, yet her character has been tainted. You can also grab a copy and read that also. That is very, very important. You read that story and grab more and read more comprehensively. Now we know that as at the moment, the interview that is seeking to bring on board the new IEBC boss is ongoing. Please remember to grab a copy of the People Daily newspaper and read that story and much more comprehensively on page 8 of the People Daily newspaper, or in page 8 of the People Daily newspaper. Now, KT boss honored in continental recognition. Story from People Daily. That is, Kenya Tourism Board Chief Executive June Chepkemei has been listed as one of Africa's most influential CEOs for the 2025. You can also grab a copy and read much of that story. Now, on page 7, where we see Nyachai at pains to fight off state project tagged in contest. That's also a story which was on the cover page. Now, former CIC boss also quizzed over various personal and issues, as well as his short tenure at the regional court. You can also check that story also by Mercy Mwai and Christopher Kesemei. Now, former commissioner for the implementation of the Constitution, CIC chairperson Charles Nyachai, yesterday fought off claims that he was a state candidate who only applied for the IEBC and Boundaries Commission chair to advance President William Ruto's interest. Appearing before IEBC selection panel chaired by Dr. Nelson Makanda, Nyachai put up spirited effort to trash memorandum challenging his suitability that had been forwarded to the panel by private citizen Bunge la Wananchi. You can also grab a copy and read that story much more comprehensively. Sorry for that. We continue. That story is on page 7 of the People Daily newspaper. Please grab a copy and read more comprehensively. Working group finalized plan to gender-based violence. Now, National Gender-Based Violence Working Group has finalized the memorandum on GBV, including femicide, for submission to technical working group that was recently gazetted by President William Ruto. Please grab a copy and also read much of that story. Amnesty now warns of rising corruption ahead of 2027 polls. Now, civil society says elected leaders are on a looting spree to fund their 2027 campaigns, ignoring development projects. Story by Samuel Kariuki. Please grab a copy of the People Daily newspaper and read much of that story. You can also check on that as we move with speed to page 13. Orders preventing Nairobi hospital borrowing lifted. Now, medical facility welcomes move to have DCI probe its operations and structures amid fallouts. Story by Caroline Kubwa. Please grab a copy and read much more comprehensively. City pastor charged with stealing millions of church donations. A story by Alphonse Mungao. A pastor of a city church has been charged with stealing 23.5 million allegedly received from donor from running operations of a religious institution. You can also grab a copy and read much of that story. It is there in the People Daily newspaper on page 13. And also we see terror in paradise. Residents live in fear as gang rules Diani. Now, attack by Panga boys have left many locals and business owners unsettled, with call on police to take action on the culprits. A story by Shaban Omar. Life in Diani, one of Kenya's most beautiful tourist hubs, has turned into a nightmare for residents following a wave of violence attacks by juvenile gang known as Panga boys. You can also check on that story and read more comprehensively. And also we see Deputy Governor warns over drug trade. Now, Machakos Deputy Governor Francis Mwangangi has warned that Kenya risks being turned into a human and drug trafficking hub unless the government acts. You can also check that story and read more comprehensively. And also on the same page we see Administrator Storm Muranga Bar injure 2. A story by Oliver Musembi. Please grab a copy and read much more comprehensively of that story. Now on page 16 we see how new innovations allow farmers to reap twice from the sun. Now farmers are now able to reap from the sun. You can grab a copy and read more of that story. That is agrovoltaic doubles up output of same patch of earth to generate power and cultivate food. Story by Alberto Leni. Grab a copy and read much of that story and many more of the stories which is there on or in the People Daily newspaper. Now, the story which is also, we did see Naishi Jahanamu, that is from Taifa Leo, a story which is touching on former Kiambu governor is moving with speed, and now many people are sharing on it. Now, a lot has been going on, and at this moment, I just want to dial on the trending stories in the Republic of Kenya. There are a lot of trending stories that are going on in our nation today, and there is videos that are not actually good for the Republic of Kenya and for the viewers. Now, this story that has been trending of a woman who was dragged in the funeral during burial and caned and humiliated, that story is outside there, and we start to condemn that kind of act against women, that is gender-based violence. We urge Kenyans to move with speed in condemning this and to bring people who were involved in this to book, because that is not the right way we should live in our society. There are some norms which are outdated. There are some myths which does not even make any sense. You have a role to play to ensure that we live in an environment that is welcoming and conducive to all of us in the Republic of Kenya. Now, in Migori County yesterday, we also witnessed that is the prayer by bishops who came out to pray for the Republic of Migori County. That was a great move for the clergy in Migori County, and we say kudos to you. What Migori County needs, what Migori Town needs is more of prayer, and We are very grateful for the clergy having organized the meeting and welcomed all the leaders from Migori County, and we are very grateful. We did see Migori County Governor was not left out, and many leaders in Migori County attended. We say that is a good move, and let us embrace peace. Let us embrace one another as we move with swift. So once we are in Migori, no, things are changing. Migori is taking a new shape, and that is very important. We thought that, we believe that is very important for the people of Migori to also have to know that we also care. We also have you at heart. You are the center of our interest. And also moving on with the stories that we have on page 24, or on page 32, sorry. 15 million voters endorse jailed Amamoglu for president. You can also check that, where we see more than 15 millions voted for embattled Istanbul mayor amid huge protest over his arrest. You can also check that and read much of that story more comprehensively. Moving on with other stories which are on the People Daily newspaper, we jump on sports. A new era in Kenya aquatics, as many people read it. Now, record-breaking turnout at Kiambu Swimming Championship showcased country's rising aquatic talent. So that is a story I believe is of significance. You can grab a copy and read. And also we see this one is very important for us, because it is matter that is touching in Migori County. Oyugi Ogango eyes historic KSSA hat trick. Story by Shadrach Andega. Now, two-time back-to-back Kenya Secondary School Sports Association netball national champions Oyugi Ogango Girls High School Team A staged a dramatic comeback to narrowly clinch victory in an international Women Month tournament. They edged out Trans Nzoia County's Anderson Secondary School 17-16 in a thrilling final on Sunday at Ulinzi Sports Complex Indoors Arena in Lang'ata, Nairobi. We say, Oyugi Ogango, keep on going, keep pushing. You deserve this. This is what you do best. You can also grab a copy and read that story. We believe it is very important. And checking on that, Kitale leaves no doubt in Bayer Series victory. That is on Matters of Golf on page 36. You can also grab that. And also, Flash Strike thrice at a Safari Rally. That is, Car Flash Tundo braved a mechanical setback to clinch historic trip victory in Gruel Safari Rally, Kenya. You can also check that and read more comprehensively of that story. And also we see hunt for Kenya's next athlete begins in Bomet. Now, Bomet County is set to host highly anticipated Rift Valley Primary School and Junior Secondary School Athletics Champions, a two-day event scheduled to take place from March 27th to April 1st at Bomet IAAF Stadium. We hope it is going to bear more fruit. And on page 38, we see Alexandra Arnold makes new Liverpool contract decision. This comes amid Real Madrid talks, who are working to secure a high-profile free transfer. You can also check that story from Manchester on Monday. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold is reported to have rejected yet another offer of a new contract from Liverpool as he eyes a free transfer to Real Madrid. That's a story on page 38. And on that page is where we see the standing on table of that is EPL, that is the leagues, major leagues that are played across the world. We see English Premier League, we see Liverpool on top with 70 points, followed by Arsenal, 58, Nottingham coming third with 54 points, Chelsea fourth with 49, as Man City is 49 points, tying with Man City is 48, behind Chelsea. And we see Manchester United is battling on position 13, while Southampton is closing down the list. Coming into Spanish La Liga, we see Barcelona topping with 60 points, Real Madrid 60, having played 28 games, Atletico Madrid 56 points. You can also check on that. And getting into Germany Bundesliga, we see Bayern Munich 62 points, Leverkusen 56, and Mainz third with 45 points. Italian Serie A, where we see Inter Milan 64, Napoli 64, and Atlanta coming third with 58 points. And moving on to French Ligue 1, we see PSG 68 points, Marseille Olympique 49, Monaco coming third with 47 points. That's the standing on English Premier League. You can also check that and read more comprehensively. Now moving on to page 39, coffee, gum and pills. Why footballers are increasingly dosing up on caffeine. You can also check that story. The stimulant was removed from the banned list over 20 years ago, but has been included in WADA's 2025 monitoring program to detect pattern of misuse. Please grab a copy and read more comprehensively. Now, let us look at what is in Harambee Stars, having lost to Gabon and having drew against Zambia. Now we see Defiant McCarthy, that is Harambee Stars head coach Benny McCarthy. You can see the photo during their last training season at Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. And you can see his stern face, saying South African tacticians remain optimistic despite Kenyan's fourth place standing in Group F after loss. Story by Dennis Mabuka. Harambee Stars World Cup dream suffered a major setback after 2-1 defeat to Gabon at a packed Nyayo Stadium, where former Arsenal captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang struck twice to silence home crowd. Despite Michael Olunga's late goal sparking hopes of comeback, Kenyan chances of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup now hangs by thread, leaving head coach Benny McCarthy banking on mathematical miracles with 4 crucial matches remaining. You can also see that. Let us hope that McCarthy is going to pull things together. We are moving back to page 10, where we are going to take on the quote and the thoughts of the day. Now, quote of the day 1 is from AFD President Akinwumi Adesina. Africa will be the epicenter of feeding the world, since 65% of the uncultivated arable land left in the world is in Africa. Therefore, what Africa does with its agriculture will determine the future of food in the world. You can also check that. And another quote from Ahmadi, IEB's chairperson candidate, Ann Ahmadi. there was actually no reason for me to be in that case. I resigned from the farm in 2014 and was fully engaged in my duties in the judiciary. That's also thought. We also see one quote of the day from Nairobi City County Assembly Speaker Ken Ngondi. The unbecoming behavior and attitude of members towards their responsibility is clear, and the law and the other constitutional requirement outline the consequences. You can also check on that. But also we see the cartoon of the day where we see President William Ruto is measuring the ground and say, Daktari, listen to the heat of the ground. As he plans to move to Mount Kenya, is listening to the heat of the ground. And whoever is saying that is listening to the heat of the ground is former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. You can check on that cartoon of the day. On thought of the day from Albert Camus. We continue to shape our personality all our life. If we knew ourselves perfectly, we should die. That's the thought of the day. Thank you so much, my dear viewers. The thought of the day brings us to the close of the vibrant morning. Remember, your feedback is very, very vital. Keep on following us, keep on subscribing. You can visit YouTube and also watch more of our programs that we offer down there. Remember, BTV is your home live TV. Now, before we sum it up and I say bye, remember BTV has a subsequent company that works with BTV, that is Blackman Digitech Graphics, where we offer different services, that is ranging from printing, general printing, large format printing. All those services are available. You can reach to us and also get more. You need advertising and marketing for your business. Blackman Graphics Digitech is there for you. You need video, photography, video shoot, photography online, and also you may need other services like live coverage of an event. We are there. Please reach out to us so that we may give you the services, we offer to you the services that we provide. Thank you so much for keeping tuned to BTV. Thank you so much for watching Vibrant Morning. We have to bring this to a close. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Remember to be safe.
Facebook as well. Blackman Digital Graphics. Quality you can trust. Welcome to Blackman Digital Graphics. We offer design, printing and branding services using large format printing, offset and digital printing. Our approach to printing, graphics design and branding is top-notch with quality services including roll-up banners, street banners, teardrops, reflective banners, telescope banners, vehicle branding, road signages, mugs, badges, t-shirts, polo shirts, hoodies, pens, letterheads, business cards, envelopes, receipt books, brochures, flyers, posters, calendars, magazines, wedding cards, plastic ID cards, funeral programs, and many more. We also have indoor and outdoor videography, photography, and live streaming services. Visit us at our Migori Market, Onyinjo Bridge, Tiendege Stage offices. Call or WhatsApp us through 0721 379308 or 0736 352224. Connect with us on YouTube and Facebook at Blackman TV. We are on TikTok as BTV Kenya and also Blackman's